Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Creative and Cold. I am Marcy, and today's episode is going to be a little different. It is coming from a tender, honest place. It is not polished, it is not packed with strategies. It's more like a voice memo from a friend who's in the middle of a big life shift. I am sitting here at the end of May as I'm recording this, and I'm just days away from welcoming our second baby into the world. And while I've had everything pretty much ready for a few weeks now, I've been, in nesting mode, I still have a lot of really big questions. So today, I just want to share those questions with you. I think a lot of my listeners are fellow moms, and I would love to hear from you about all of these questions. If you have transitioned from one kid to two, if you have dealt with mom guilt, if you have had a tough time during those early postpartum days, I'm just sitting here thinking about this is going to be a big transition in my life and my family's life. And sometimes you just have to take a moment to just reflect on what's about to happen. And hearing from other moms who have been through this is probably the most comforting thing that I could be seeking out. So that's what I'm doing. Now, this episode probably won't be released until the end of June, after baby girl has already joined us, but the questions will remain. So I welcome all of your feedback, any answers you have to these. If you want to share your experience with me, send me an email, comment on the podcast, whatever form of communication you want to use. I would love to hear from you. So whether you are also in a season of transition, anticipating change, or wondering how your motherhood and your creative calling can possibly coexist, I want you to know that you are not alone. This episode is a space to breathe, to ask, to reflect, and to feel seen. So, my first big question: what is it really like to transition from one kid to two? For the last 4.5 years, my world has been completely wrapped around my son's life. He is everything. He's the first person I think of in the morning. He's the last person I think of at night. He is just my entire world. And it is hard to imagine loving another child as much as I love him. But I hear that your heart expands. That's what everyone says. And I believe it. I just don't feel it yet because it hasn't happened. She's just not here yet. So how do you do it? How do you hold space for two little ones who need such different things from me at the same time? What happens when they both cry at once? What happens when I can't be in two places at once? What happens when my toddler wants to play, but the baby just started eating? I look at my first child and I think, you have had me all to yourself for 4.5 years. And I'm so grateful for the time that we've had. But then I also feel this little ache, like something is ending, even though something really beautiful is also beginning. When my husband works 24-hour shifts or 12-hour shifts, he works a lot. So, I'm often solo parenting, especially on the weekends. And it used to be really stressful when my little one was like 2 years old. The whole terrible twos thing is like, it's real. I've come to accept it's a real thing. But now, over the past year and a half, I've really enjoyed our Saturdays together. It's been really sweet. Like, he's to a place that he can have a conversation, and he's, like, developing his own personality and his own interest, and, we have a routine. We like to I signed him up for soccer on Saturday morning, so, like, we go to soccer, and then we'll probably go to Michael's. Surprisingly, not for yarn. It's because he wants to get, one of those kids' projects, painting or something like that. So we'll do that, and then we'll go to the library and go to story time, and then we might grab some lunch, and then in the afternoon we'll hang out in the backyard, and he plays in the dirt, and we'll water the plants together. It's just sweet. It's a really sweet time, and it's weird to feel like it's kind of weird to feel like it's like it's not ending. It's just going to look different, right? It's just going to look different because we're going to have a baby sister who's going to join in on the fun. And I hope that he sees it that way. I hope that he falls in love with her as much as I do. So I'm just curious, to those of you who have made this leap, what helped? What was harder than you expected? And what was more beautiful than you expected? Okay, the next thing I'm curious about is mom guilt. I've heard about this, and I hear that it comes in strong when you transition from 1 to 2. The big question is, how do you love the new baby wholeheartedly while also helping your first child feel just as deeply loved? When he's used to getting all of my attention, how's he going to handle it when he's getting 50% instead of 100? I don't know. Like, I don't want to be split. I want to be whole for both of them. I guess the question is that even possible? Can you be there? Can you be wholly present for both of them? And what do you do on the days where you feel like you're failing at that? And then there's my husband. I've been thinking about him and all this too. I mean, he's my partner, he's my best friend, but I know when a newborn comes, it's going to affect things. There's going to be less time, less sleep, less conversation, maybe a little less laughter, and I'm afraid that I'm going to carry this quiet guilt that he will just get the leftovers, whatever is left of me at the end of the day. Do you feel that way? How did your partner handle it when you transitioned from 1 to 2? It's like, how do you stay connected and offer each other grace when your emotional bandwidth is so thin already? And here's a question for my fellow entrepreneurs, my fellow mompreneurs. Because I love my business, I love everything about my business, and it is hard to imagine taking a break from it and it's slowing down. But, this is a season of life where that's just going to have to happen. But my question is, is there a right time to come back to your business? So should I completely unplug? Or should I leave space for those creative sparks that always seem to come at 2 a.m. in between feedings? Will people judge me if I send an email out 2 weeks after giving birth? I'm just curious, what, for other mompreneurs, what did your timeline look like? What felt right to you to come back to your business? And how did you feel about it? Did it feel selfish? Did you feel like you're starting too early? Is it okay to create something while the baby is sleeping? At this moment, I feel like it is, but I don't know, I might feel differently when it happens. Because also, when the baby sleeps, that's when we get all of our work done, right? That's when we do the dishes and the laundry and clean the house and just get our lives back together, take a shower. So I don't know. That one will be interesting because I wasn't as involved in my business with my son when my son was born. So that was not something I thought about at all. But now, like, I have such, so much momentum going with it. I'm just curious, when do you start again? Did you plan your comeback, or did you just start creating again in the middle of the chaos? This next one is a touchy subject, but what do you do with the pressure that you feel about your body after birth? When I was pregnant, it was obvious why I gained weight. And I'll be transparent. Let's see. With Sullivan, I gained, I believe, 38 pounds. But with this one, it's been so much more. I don't know why. It's closer to 50 pounds. And, when you're pregnant, it's obvious. Okay, you gained weight. It's like, there's no shame. I mean, I haven't had any shame about that. People, you walk by on the street, they see your belly, they smile. It's like, it's precious, right? But after the baby comes out, you're just left with this soft, squishy belly. You don't look pregnant anymore. You just look bigger than you were. And it's like this internal shame kicks in. And I remember thinking with Sullivan, like, I wish I could walk around with a sign above my head that says, I just had a baby. Like, don't judge me. I just had a baby. I just had a baby. It's like you want people to know why you look that. But why do we feel like that? Why do we feel like we have to explain the way we look, Why do I feel a pressure to fix it so quickly? With my son, I had him during COVID. So the gyms were closed. The world was in survival mode. And it took me 14 months, to be exact, to reach my pre-baby weight. And here I am now with a treadmill in the garage, a gym nearby with childcare, and a voice in my head saying, you should do better this time. Don't let it take that long again. But why do I have that voice in my head? Who said faster is better? I would like to get my body back much quicker than 14 months. And I think I have the resources and the motivation to do that. But it just makes me sad that so many moms that have just had babies just walk around with this shame and this need to explain ourselves as to why our tummy looks like that. But I'm trying to reframe it this time. I'm trying to be excited to be able to move my body again, which I am. I'm really excited to get my body back to myself. Not just to shrink it, but to feel strong, to move, to release stress. I want to show up for the kids with energy and confidence. So, moms, if you have been through this as well, how did you navigate body image after birth? Did you feel that weird shame about still looking pregnant but not having a reason anymore? And what helped you show yourself kindness and grace in your body as it healed? So, here's my last thought. Something that I've noticed with both pregnancies. It's very subtle, but it has stuck with me. Have you noticed that when you're pregnant, complete strangers will talk to you? Like all the time. They smile at you in the grocery store. They hold the door for you. They ask when you're due. They ask if it's a boy or a girl. Some of them awkwardly say, is there only one in there? Because yes, I carry a very big. I still don't know what to do with that question, but people, when I had 3 months left, they thought I had 3 days left. I just carry very big. And so people would think I was carrying twins. Like, nope, there's only one. But there's still a warmth in it. There's this connection. There's kindness from strangers who don't know you. And sure, some of the questions can be awkward and weird, but most of the time it's just people being nice and saying something sweet about babies, saying something sweet about being a mom, and sharing a little story. And then the baby comes out and it's like you disappear. And then you just go back to just being a woman walking around Target and nobody talks to you. And it's like, oh, I kind of missed it. It was kind of nice to have just that connection with strangers. And it's just interesting how people act around pregnant women. And it's really sweet. And when it's gone, it's very it's noticeably gone. No one talks to you anymore. Then you just become, a tired looking mom pushing a stroller. And like, even then, no one's talking to you. What is it about the pregnancy that makes people so kind and sweet? But then once the baby's out, it's like, you're just another mom with a baby. I don't know. That's just something I've noticed. But it's been nice to have conversations with people I would have never otherwise probably spoken to. So, just a little thing that I've noticed. So yeah, this episode has just been a mix of questions about motherhood, creativity, guilt, grace, and just being human. And I'm going to end on a positive note because I feel like some of these questions were kind of sad. I literally feel like a kid at Christmas. I am so excited to meet her. If I haven't mentioned this, her name is going to be Birdie. Birdie. And yes, we have gotten mixed reactions about the name, but my husband and I love it, and that is really all that matters. So the one thing I've noticed about going through a pregnancy the second time is that now that I know what is on the other side of pregnancy, because I've fallen head over heels in love with my son, of course. And now that I know that love exists, that fierce love between a mother and their child, I felt like I fell in love with Birdie when I saw her at our 9-week ultrasound visit. I mean, I already felt connected to her, and I didn't have that with Sullivan. Just because I wasn't a mom yet. It took me, he was 8 weeks old until I felt a real emotional attachment to him. And that was tough. Some people bond instantly, and others, it takes time. And for me, it took time. But of course now I'm just head over heels for him. And now that I know that is what is on the other side of a pregnancy, I'm so excited. I can't wait to meet her. I can't wait to hold her. I just can't wait to just be a witness to her life and just watch her grow up and become the woman she's going to be. I will certainly record another episode. I don't know when, but after she gets here, I will record another episode and give everyone a little life update. But I just wanted to end on a positive note because I am, above all of these questions, I am more excited than I am thinking about all of these questions. But they're also just things I think about, and I would love to hear from you. I'd really love to hear what your experiences were like. So thank you for being here, my friends. I am so grateful for you, and I will see you on the other side of this new season.